Hello viewers, welcome once again to the Kariobangi South. Today we are talking matter education and our guest is already here and he'll lead us through it. Welcome, Bwana John.
Thank you so much.
Yes. We are delighted to have you this morning. For the benefit of the viewers, maybe you can start by introducing yourself.
Thank you. My name's John Wambugu. I love the Lord as my personal Savior. And I have worshipped in this parish for a long time. So I'm excited to be here and to join you as we look forward to celebrating this 25th anniversary.
Thank you, Mr. John, and welcome once again. You've been involved in the process of this parish. Maybe you can start by taking us through when you joined the PCA Kariobangi South.
Yes, I became a member of PCA Kariobangi South Church way back in 1984. And at that time we were worshiping at the old Nairobi City Council structure down there. And it has been a long journey to where we are now. So I'm excited and delighted to have a reflection on this journey.
Okay. Before you started at the shed, where were you worshiping from?
Before we went to the shed, it's a long story. Of course, when we were worshiping at the shed, that was the Dora parish.
Okay.
And we had come all the way from Bahati parish, the Raja Bahati parish.
Okay.
And so, as you know, there are instances where now a household becomes a bit bigger and evangelization takes place. And so you have to move on. And that's how we found ourselves at the shed.
Okay. Were you residing in Kariobangi South by then to gather yourselves at the shed?
Yes. I was residing at stage 56.
Okay.
A well-known place in Kariobangi South.
Yes.
And I have been there for close to over 10 years.
Okay.
Before I came to the market court here.
Okay.
Mm.
So how many families gathered at the shed to start now the congregation at the shed?
Yes, I may not be able to give the exact number, but it was not a big number.
Okay.
Mm.
Were you sent by Bahati there, or you just decided amongst yourselves to start worshiping at the shed?
Yeah, it was this way. Going to Bahati Church, it was a journey. Yeah. And there were quite a number of families living in Kariobangi South.
Yes.
And so people gather together and see where, we can worship with ease, convenience.
Yeah. And
that's how we got to the shed.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Who gave you the shed?
It was the city council of that time.
You requested for a place to worship?
Yes.
Okay. Now, amongst the congregation that was at the shed, did you have any other church group there, or just a congregation?
Another group worshiping?
No. Was there any other church group apart from congregation?
Yes, the church groups were there. We had a church school.
Okay.
We had the women's guild. We had the choir.
Okay.
And yeah. And the youth also.
Okay. So from the congregation you had all those church groups, like a normal. Okay. What were you in charge of that time?
Yes, at the shed, I was a teacher for church school, among other church school teachers. Yeah, and basically we were taking care of our young ones there.
How many teachers were you by then?
Oh, when we were there,
at the shed,
we were not many. But one thing that I remember clearly is our spiritual fathers. in the church.
Yeah.
And in particular, Hosea Baye Moremi,
Okay.
Israel Dongo Ikufu.
Yeah.
Those are the teachers or spiritual fathers that I came to work together as a group.
Yeah.
And we were mixed. We had young teachers, young ladies, young men, married teachers, and those elders that I've mentioned.
And approximately, how many children were there in the church school?
I may not be able to give the exact, but I can give an estimate. Roughly 50 or thereabout.
Okay. And how are you financing now that Department of Education?
In terms of financing, we are talking of those early years. And those early years is when you definitely see that to give an offering to a young one to take to church, those are the times that we had the mashiringi, if I may use that word. And so we would get the offerings in terms of 50 cents, shillings. At the time, it was very rare to see a note. So we've come from far. But
the few collections you did were enough to run the education ministry.
Oh, yes. Of course, we had those few collections. And the church had also allocated the specific day or specific time in the year when we could do what I would call fundraising. We'll go to friends here and there, invite them, come and fundraise during our church school week.
Okay. Even at the shed?
Even at the shed.
You still have those days?
Yeah, it was there.
Okay.
It was there.
Okay. Did you become an official of the church group or the church school? Apart from being a teacher?
Apart from being a teacher, I was elected as an official of church school. And first I was elected as a treasurer.
Okay.
And as we went by, I was elected as a chairman of church school. And I'm proud of what we did. Because through that time that I was elected, I think I did my part. Because in servanthood, you have to realize one thing. And this I get from, my inspiration comes from the book of Acts. Acts chapter 13, verse 36. Where it says, when David served the Lord during his time, he rested. Meaning that you and me, we have a limit. And when that time comes and it ends, you only reflect back and see what had you done. So the story of my Sunday school, I get my inspiration from that verse. Yes.
So eventually now you moved from the shed, came to the wooden structure. How was the workload then?
Okay. We have moved now to the new sanctuary, the Tiba Church. That was 1987. And I would say that we started experiencing increase in number. Because I think somehow parents were shy to send their children to that
to the shed.
Because even the environment the way it was
not good.
But the moment we came here to the new sanctuary, 1987, there was an increase. And we started realizing that out of the 50 that we had there, now we are coming almost to 100. So gradually, we increased the number to even 100 and something.
Yeah.
Mm.
Were you very involved as a group in the fundraising to come up with a new structure?
Come again?
How did you raise funds to come up with the new structure, the wooden structure?
Oh, the wooden structure.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, the wooden structure. This was a matter of the session.
Mm-hmm.
Church school was not involved.
Mm-hmm.
I may not be able to comment authoritatively
Okay.
there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So now that you are the new sanctuary, the population you've had an explosion in the size of the number of children that were coming for church school.
Mm-hmm.
Where would they go now from, besides now Sunday school? What else would they become? Or what did they become after that?
Of course, when we had this number increase gradually, the issue was we are teaching here in Sunday school.
Yeah.
And we are imparting the biblical aspect of growth.
Yeah.
And after they leave our Sunday school, they are gone.
Mm-hmm.
They go to different schools.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what they get there.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where now thoughts started coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond just teaching Sunday school,
Yeah.
and these children are there,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just coming from the neighborhood,
Mm-hmm.
why don't we think of a school?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of a school started floating in Sunday school.
Oh, the origin is the Sunday
The
school.
origin of this academy,
Mm-hmm.
or what we see here today
Yeah.
as PCA Kariobangi South Academy,
Mm-hmm.
started in Sunday school.
Ah, amongst the teachers or the board that was running them.
The idea first came with the church school teachers.
Okay.
The board came later on.
Mm-hmm.
So it is during our normal monthly meetings in Sunday school
Mm-hmm.
that a thought came and we brainstormed,
Mm-hmm.
how do we take care of these church school pupils
Yeah.
that we teach every Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
but on Monday they go to different schools.
Yeah.
So after brainstorming
Mm-hmm.
is when we resolved a Sunday school
Mm-hmm.
or church school
Mm-hmm.
that we recommend
Mm-hmm.
the starting of an academy,
Mm-hmm.
a church academy.
Yeah.
So we resolved that, came up with a resolution, our church school teachers,
Yeah.
and then we took that resolution or recommendation
Mm-hmm.
to the local church committee.
Yeah.
And after deliberations, the idea was adopted.
Oh.
So it stopped
Mm-hmm.
being a church school issue
Mm-hmm.
and became now a local church committee
Yeah.
issue.
Mm-hmm.
So the local church committee took up the issue.
Okay.
And from there, that's how the idea was born.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And there was no stopping from there.
Oh, from there,
Mm-hmm.
it was no stopping.
Mm-hmm.
The church committee recommended that now that the issue has been adopted,
Mm-hmm.
what remains is implementation.
Yes.
And of course, when you are implementing something new, there are of course the challenges that are there.
Yeah.
So the church committee thought that now that the church school has recommended this issue and it has been adopted, it will be better be implemented by a board appointed by the local church committee.
Yeah.
And that's how now a local board was born.
Okay.
Yes.
Was it drawn from the session or it had membership from other?
No, this was now an issue of the local church committee.
Yeah.
Because that's where now the recommendation has been.
Yeah, passed.
And in the local church committee, Sunday school is there, youth group is there, brigade is there,
Yes.
building committee is there,
Yes.
the session is also there. So it was now owned by the local church committee.
Yeah.
And it is that time, if I may give the years, this was sometimes Sunday school or church school started floating this idea in 1997. Floating the idea and toying up with the possibility. Of course, it would look where would be the finances, where would be who owned the school. You know, those kind of questions were there. And sometimes now, in 1988, is when we received as a Sunday school to forward the recommendation to the local church committee. And we did it the same year. And the church committee gave us blessings to go ahead with that recommendation. And to start it off, the local church committee gave us board members to initiate the startup. And from there, when the board was formed, it was also agreed that since it has come from the Sunday school, we need somebody from Sunday school to really propagate that vision. And that's how I was recommended to be the chairman of that committee, of that board.
Oh, you became the chairman?
I became the chairman of that of that board. So, of course, there were other members now that came in, the few that I would remember. We had Ann Kiama, who was our treasurer, Mrs. Mujuga, Esther Kamau, we had also a very critical person at that time, Mr. Albert Kaguru, Albert Kariuki Kaguru. And Mr. Kaguru came in to join the board, more so to play the technical part that some of us were lacking. And he played a very, very critical role in the formative years of that school. Was
he an elder by then? Or why was he picked to the technical part?
Mr. Kaguru was a technical person. And he was also an elder. So he played a very, very big role. And from the point that now we were to start the school, he came in handy. Because when we reflect back, when we were teaching those 50 to 100 children, and especially when we came now to the new structure, the TIBA structure in 1987, you know, there were no classes. So even when we were teaching in Sunday school, it was a matter of you know, grouping the kids or the pupils in different age groups, so that you are able to really communicate to them in an easier and mature manner, because class 7 and 8 would be different from class 1, class 4. So we had allocated ourselves, the teachers, 2 teachers at least per class. Baby class, we had teachers for them. Going up to standard 7, 8.
Where were you teaching them? Which rooms were you using as the classes? Classrooms?
You know, there are times things that you do, and later on you reflect and see, did we go through that scenario? We had no classes. And when we had to divide these kids for easier management and impartation of the knowledge, we had to take them outside, because we could not now teach them in the whole, in the sanctuary as a group.
And the services are going on.
And the services are going on. So we would tell a particular class, started at 4, go to that corner outside. Started 7 and 8, which was being taught by Jose Abaye Muremi, the rate, go to that corner.
Within the compound?
Within the compound. So when we reflect back and see how far we have come from, it is the grace of God. So we started simply that way, but all along, we have come to experience God's blessings.
Now, I want to take the viewer through that scenario where now the academy comes up and your first pupils.
The academy comes now. It was 1999. When now the academy is born. With my board, whom I give my appreciation, wherever they are, those founding members of the board. We did what was within our ability. And now you can imagine the role of saying you are starting a school, but you don't have a child specifically whom we are telling, come to school, I teach you. Some of us were not teachers. I'm the chairman and I'm not a teacher by profession. So it was a time that I can say we started very simply. When we sat as a board, we said now, we must have a headmaster or headmistress. We must have a teacher. So that when we go now looking for these kids, they'll come and find a teacher. So you are employing a teacher, you are employing a headmistress, but watoto hakuna. Watoto hakuna.
So you're recruiting the staff, but no children.
Yes. Of course, it was a step of faith. Because it was clear in our mind that God had given us a vision. And we wanted to do what is within our ability to propagate this vision and make it a reality.
It's true. By the time you're recruiting the staff, before you get to even to the pupils, is there a structure coming up by then? So that if they come, they'll find a class ready?
That was the other challenge. Other than the sanctuary, and a little shade outside there, because the sanctuary could get filled up. And at times, people could sit outside. So there was a structure, a temporary structure. And that structure could accommodate those who stay outside, and we would also use it for Sunday school. And by the way, to accommodate those kind of challenges that were there, we had planned for Sunday school, we come pretty early.
In the morning?
In the morning. So that by 9, we are through with Sunday school. Because we are using the same hall, the same shade, and there will be English service taking place from 9 to 10:30. And then the Kikuyu service will follow from 11. So we had a challenge in terms of the space. And so when now fully we were set to go for the school to take off, we said, let's use the hall to start with. But at the same time, we needed now to come up with, ideas of where next, because the hall could not just accommodate everybody. So with my board, we deliberated and we recommended that for this school to take off, we have to sell shares. We came up with a shareholding. So when you hear of people talking of shareholding, it's not new.
Yeah.
So we talked of shareholding. And we were floating now shareholding to different groups of the church and the church itself. And we said, if Sunday school can purchase an amount of shares, women's guild the same, youth the same, brigade, even the church committee itself. And this idea was also received very positively.
Yeah.
Church school contributed 200,000 at that particular time.
Yeah.
Women's guild contributed 200,000.
Wow.
Brigade contributed some amount.
Yeah.
Youth group contributed some amount.
Yeah.
Although of less amount.
Yeah.
But we all participated.
Yeah.
And that's how we got money to build our first class.
Okay.
And when we came now to build our first class, we had to do what we would call economies of scale.
Yeah.
An economies of scale was to use the existing structures, add a little bit of it, and come up with a class.
Yeah.
So, if you remember, there was the old vestry of the old sanctuary, the Tiba.
Yeah.
So we said, and this is where Mr. Kaguro came in. We would think of using the wall of the old sanctuary and part of the vestry. We built an adjacent class that will use the wall and will save some money.
Yeah.
And that involved demolishing the vestry. And it became an issue with the elders.
Okay.
So when we were trying to deliberate, how do we make it? And Mr. Kaguru, who is so blessed with the technical mind, advised us, this is how we will do it. After we hold Sunday service on a particular Sunday, then the following Monday, there is no activity going on now in the sanctuary, in the vestry.
Yeah.
We'll demolish the vestry, put a roof, adjust the roof so that we align it with the new class.
Yeah.
And by the time end of the week, when worshipers came and the elders came, they found a vestry that has been redesigned
To a class.
to a class.
Okay.
And it worked well.
Yeah.
And I thank Mr. Kaguru for that.
Wow, that's quite a journey. And I'm sure by now when you walk around, you are happy with what you midwifed to be the current situation. Now the school is big. From that small seed that you planted, the church also owes you a lot. And we remember you in our prayers. Because of time, we want maybe to stop from here, but we'll not stop until you talk to the congregation using this camera. Towards the 6th of April celebration, when you're celebrating 25th anniversary, give them a word of counsel.
Yes, as I give them a word of counsel, let me say that when I came here and I saw that that project, that structure that I saw there, it was in my mind. I saw the works of God. And I saw the theme of this church, you and I
Together.
to heaven, because we have come a long way.
Yeah.
And God has promised us big, greater things in our lives.
Yes.
And when I see that project, that is part of it. That is just one of them.
Yeah.
And many more. And even this church that we are in today, currently, it is a project that God has revealed himself the way he can walk with his people. And so I come to the congregants. And I still refer them to my inspiration verse. Acts chapter 13, verse 36.
Yeah.
That you have a time and it has a remit.
Yeah.
I was a founder chairman of the academy, and I left for others to take over and continue.
Yes.
When I was reflecting on our spiritual fathers, Jose Abai Moremi, Israel Dongo Ikufu, and many more, they have come before us and they have gone.
Yeah.
So the challenge to you as a member of this congregation, wherever you are serving, know that God has given you an opportunity to do your best.
Yes.
As long as you do it within your ability, God will bless you.
Yeah.
We started that school without anything, but God provided the resources, and you're able to say, if I made a mark, may praise be to God. Make your mark, let it be one day be remembered. So thank you so much for this time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John Wambugu. It was a pleasure having you for this interview. Viewers, that was John Wambugu, one of the founder members of the Christian Education and the Church School Academy, our Church Academy. We thank you very much, and we look forward to seeing you on 6th of April when we'll be celebrating the 25th anniversary. God bless you very much.
God willing.
Karibu sana, put it in your diary. We'll be waiting for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I also appreciate the time that you have accorded me.
Yeah.
And those few words that I've spoken, a lot has not been spoken. Yeah. But that brief gives us a reflection from where we are coming and where we are heading. Amen. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.